Pasanda roughly translates to everybody's favourite, so this chicken pasanda recipe is a lovely one to share with all the family. The first thing I'm going to do is get the chicken ready, and I've got some chicken breasts that I'm going to use a rolling pin with and just flatten out. Make them nice and thin, and then we're going to marinate those in a lovely yoghurt based marinade. Into that yoghurt, I'm going to add some coriander seeds for a bit of zing, some chilli powder, a little bit of turmeric, some salt for seasoning, and some black peppercorns that I'm going to bash up as well. And we're going to mix all of that together with some garam masala. That will be the basic marinade, and the chicken will just sit in there for about 30 minutes. While the chicken's marinating, I'm going to get on and make the sauce. I like to use a really nice wide base pan because it means that I can put my flattened chicken pieces out. I'm going to use ghee because this is a nice creamy dish, and into that straight away I'm going to add 3 cardamom pods. I'm just going to crack them before I pop them in, and then some cassia bark. Just roughly break that up, about 6 centimetres or so. And what cassia bark does is it gives these kinds of dishes, so a korma or a pasanda, anything that's got that creamy nature, it gives it a real sweetness, a real gentle sweetness. So all we're going to do is just toast those just for a couple of minutes, and you can see the bubbles, you can see them almost walking around the pan by themselves. As soon as you see that, we're going to add our onions. I've got a finely chopped onion here. Try and chop it as finely as possible because you want that onion to just melt into the final sauce. Whenever you're chopping your onions for any kind of dish, try and get them all the same sort of size because it just means they will cook at the same rate. For this dish, when you're cooking your onions, you don't want to really add any colour because it's a nice light dish. You want those onions to remain that nice light colour, so the resulting dish will have almost like a yellowy creaminess rather than a really dark colour to it. So just soften them, just get them translucent, and after a few minutes we can add our ginger and garlic, which I've previously chopped up nice and fine. I've blitzed up a couple of tomatoes just straight into a blender. I'm going to pour those into the sauce. I'm leaving this to cook for a couple of minutes just to thicken up slightly, and then I'm going to get my almond paste ready. Whilst the sauce has been cooking down, I've toasted off 3 tablespoons of almonds just in a dry frying pan, and then blitzed them in a blender and added some water just to make an almond paste. And I'm going to add that now to the sauce. This is going to give really lovely sweetness and a bit of a creaminess to this dish. The reason it's called a pasanda is because it's a very mild, flavoured sauce, so it's a really lovely family dish. If you're finding that your sauce doesn't tend to thicken up as much as you'd like it to, you can also add just a tablespoon of ground flour, but the almonds should be enough. And I'm going to go and get my chicken that's been marinating. So if you look at this now, it's been sat there for a good half an hour. If you wanted to, you can by all means leave it for a little bit longer, but I'm going to place these straight in. So once you've placed them in, leave them for a couple of minutes and then just turn them over just to sear both sides of them very quickly. Once it's started to simmer through and you can see the sauce being created and you can see that the flavours are all starting to mix together, turn it right down to the lowest setting, pop the lid on the pan and leave it to cook for about 15 minutes because it's going to take that time just for everything to come together and be delicious. This is looking great. It's bubbling away. I'm just going to have a quick check. Chicken looks cooked. Seasoning's beautiful, really good, lovely creamy sauce, exactly what I was looking for. And because it looks so great, I think I'm just going to take that to the table. I'm just going to finish off with some beautiful fresh coriander, just because it'll make the dish look good and it'll add a really nice freshness to it. Sprinkle that straight in your pan. And then I always like to add a few almonds, just for a little bit of texture, a little bit of crunch. So I'm going to take this to the table and enjoy it. This dish goes really well with aloo gobi and fresh homemade naan. Tap the eye to see these recipes and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.